Thank you for joining me today on Krista So Crafty. My name is Krista. Today I'm going to walk you through the steps that I use to create a greeting card. There's no template for this. It's just using my imagination and using the items and tools that I'm finding in Cricut Design Space. To start with, I just take a shape, a square, and I resize it so that it is 10 by 5. Now I just go back into shapes and grab the score line, which is the top left one, and I'm going to change the height of that to 5 inches. Then I'm going to select both the line and the rectangle and align center them so that everything is right where it needs to be. And then I'm going to go down and I'm going to attach the two of them. The next step is to go back into the shapes and to get a square, and I'm going to resize it and turn it kind of on the angle. And I'm going to put it in the top left-hand corner of the card. This is not a template or anything. This is just me playing around, choosing a different shapes to put on my card. I'm going to put 2 different size squares onto the front of my card, one just inside the other, and I'm going to cut them out. So this will allow me to get the shapes I want for the top left. So all I do is select the pink one and the black one and slice them. The next step is to cut out the shape. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the square, another square, and I'm laying it exactly over the right-hand side of the card, which would be the front part of the card. What this does is it allows me to then take the pink shape and the new black shape and slice them apart. And this in turn gives me the shape that I need for that corner. Once you have the shape made, then all I did is I went back up to the top corner and I realigned it top left, and then I took another shape and I'm going to make this shape just a little bit smaller so there's a small border going all the way around. Then I'm going to grab another square and I'm going to make it the size of the front of the card, and then I will take the front of the card square and the new shape that I just created. I will select both of those and slice it, and that will give me the shape I need for the second shape on the card. So just watch what I'm doing and then just go through and delete the pieces you don't need. The nice part about doing this is you can create any design, any shape you want on your card, and so you don't have to use a template. You can create something of your own from your own mind, which is awesome. So here I'm just moving this stuff out of the way, and now I'm going to go over and I'm going to click on the text tool, and then I'm going to start typing my text. In this instance, I'm going to write thinking of you, and I'm going to put thinking on one line and of you on the next line. And I want the of you to be in capital letters. Now, as you can see, it's picking up the font that I used for the last thing I did. So I'm just going to go up to the top right and I'm going to click on the advanced, and I'm going to change these so that they're on 2 different lines. And then I'm going to select my font, the of you part, and I'm going to change it to just block style font. You can use whatever you want. And then I'm going to take and I'm going to make it smaller so that it will fit under the word thinking, in between the letter T and the G, so it just kind of tucks in there. I'm going to move the font down to the bottom right hand corner and just resize it so that it'll fit in that small area down there. And that's it. I think my card is good to go. So I'm just going to make sure that everything is laid out the way I want it. I'm just changing the colors just so that it will cut on different mats for me. And it just also gives me a little better idea of what it's going to look like in the end. So at this point, I'm thinking I might want to put some sort of a detail or a design element on the front of it. So I'm going to go over to the images section and I'm going to search for flowers. And I'm just looking to see if maybe there's a type of some sort of a flower I could cut out and put on here. In the end, I decided not to cut out anything. I decided I'm going to go to my flower box that I have in the house, and I'm just going to choose a flower. So now we're just going to go ahead and start cutting the card, but the first thing we need to do, of course, is to save our project. You do not want to lose it, so make sure you save it. And I do have a folder, a collection that I've made for cards, so I will click on that and add it to that area, and then I'll just click on Save. One last step before we click on Make It is to ensure that the words are united so that they cut as one. And so now that I've done that, I'll just save it and click on Make It. Moving into the next step, we're just looking at everything to make sure that everything is laid out exactly the way we want it. And then I be sure to click back on the first mat and click Continue. And now it's time to set our material. I'm going to choose medium cardstock. However, there's one thing I forgot to do is I don't want the Thinking of You part cut out on cardstock. So I'm going to cancel my cut and go back to Design Space and change the color of the words Thinking of You. Only because I want it to cut on a different mat. I could have changed it in the mat setting, but I chose to do it this way. So I'm going to continue on. You'll see I have 4 mats to cut now. And I'm going to continue on with the process and choose medium cardstock and continue on. So now we need to load the cardstock onto the mat. Again, please excuse the condition of my mat. It is a bit of a mess. However, it still works, so I just use it. Now I want to make sure I put my paper, the 8.5 by 11 cardstock, with the long side going across the mat so that there's enough room for the Cricut machine to cut the card base. As well, don't forget to load your scoring wheel. In this case, I have this one here, so I'm going to take out the blade and replace it with the scoring wheel so that the Cricut can do that step. And of course, when prompted, return the blade back into your machine. And now we can take the cardstock off the mat. Be sure to turn your mat over so that the cardstock does not get all curled when you pull it off of the mat. And so there's our card base, and now we can just continue on and move on with the rest of the cutting. The nice part about doing this type of card is that I'm able to use scraps. I used a full sheet for the base of the card, but the rest of it I'm just using scraps, so that's nice. So now we need to cut the vinyl. The one step we need to do is go back into Cricut Design Space and change our material type from cardstock to vinyl. And that's what I'm going to do here, and then we can cut this out and we can start putting our card together. It's time to start weeding the vinyl, and so I'm going to use my picking tool, and I'm just going to remove the vinyl, going slow so I don't remove anything I shouldn't. But you know, famous last words, I end up pulling off the dot for one of the eyes in the word thinking. So I will have to, recut that. But other than that, I can just go through and remove all the little pieces and get everything looking nice and neat so we can put it on our card. I don't know about you guys, but I enjoy weeding the vinyl. To me, it's very relaxing, and it's nice to be able to see the design start to take shape and come to life. As you can see, I did cut out another little dot so I can place that on the eye in the word thinking. And we can put the transfer tape on and burnish it down and get it ready to place onto our card. Burnishing front and back of the vinyl ensures that it sticks well to the transfer tape. So now the next step is to take our cardstock and fold it in half. And I like to use this bone folding tool. It allows me to get a nice crease on this card so that when we go to stand it up, it'll stand up nice. And now we can go ahead and start placing our design elements that we created in Cricut Design Space onto our card. I like to lay out everything, just kind of get an idea how it's going to look before I actually start gluing or taping. For this project, I am going to use the double-sided tape. And this is just something that I picked up at the dollar store. You can get it at Michael's or online, lots of different places. It is linked down below for you. But I'm just going to use the double-sided tape and just put a strip all the way around the outside of each of these pieces, the pink and the black. Then using my picking tool, I will remove the paper backings and place this onto the card. Now, as you see, I put the glue or the tape on the pink one first. I need to do the black, and then we can start placing these on the card. It's very important for you to take your shape and place it on your card to make sure that you're putting the tape on the correct side. You don't want to spend all this time doing this and then put the tape on the wrong side. So do that step, and then you can go ahead and place your tape on here. And then again, we'll use the picking tool to remove the paper backing, and we can start putting our card together. So this is another instance where I like to use my brayer to make sure that everything is laid down nice and that the adhesive is stuck to the paper, to the card, all the way through. And then I'm going to take my vinyl that's on my transfer tape, and I'm going to place it in the bottom right hand corner, just aligning it up and placing it how I want it. Don't press down real hard because you don't want your transfer tape to inadvertently pull off any paper or rip it. That would be a sad thing at this point. So make sure you go slow. If anything starts coming up, just put the tape back down, press it down, and continue on. Use your braying tool to flatten that out. I have this little flower. I was thinking I might just kind of add on here, but the stem or whatever this is too long. So I'm just going to cut that back right close to the flower. We'll garbage that, and then I can just glue that on there like that. I think that'll look kind of pretty. Kind of like that. All right, so I decided I didn't like the little stem in there. It just wasn't holding it the way I wanted. So I took it out. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the back here, like so. And then we'll put it right about there. I'm going to use this little pink silicone finger thingy so I don't burn myself. And I'm going to try to keep the leaves, petals, I guess, kind of up still. And then I'm going to take one of these glittering stickers, and I'm going to put, I think, a light green one in there. So let's just open this up. I'm just going to pop one off. Whoops, I got 3. Didn't mean to do that. So let's put that back in there. There we go. So I have 1. And I'm going to take and put a little dab of hot glue in the middle. Now these do have a sticker back, but this is just a little extra stick power, I guess. And get that in the middle. Get a little bit of bling on here because, you know, everything's got to have bling. I like it. The next step, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some bling just kind of in this corner here. I think it needs something. So let's use our gems and our tool that we have here, our picking tool. Take that off, set those aside. And I'm thinking we'll do these 3. All right, so let's open the 3 of those. Bring this in here like that. And just for now, I'm going to set them on there, and then I will glue them in place in a little bit once I get my placement. So I think I'll put one right in the center and one of these on each side. Thank you to those of you who told me that this is like this end of this tool is to help you move around your little gems. Thank you for letting me know that. I appreciate it. So I think if we go like that, and then we'll put some of these little guys on either side. How about we do 3 on each side? Let's have a look at that anyways. Oops, see. Trade those around, even though they're supposed to be the same size. There's a little bit of a size difference. And another one over here. And here. Get off. There we go. Let's trade those around again. There, whoops, where did it go? It took off on me. I think I like that. Oh, I'm still missing one over here. You're probably saying, hey, you don't have enough. Stop, stop. I think I like that. I think that'll be pretty. Now we're going to glue these down. I'm going to use this art glitter glue. I think it will be a good choice for this project. There's a little tiny hole on this end. So let's see if oh boy, it comes out really fast. Just hold on one second. Okay, so let's try this. Now this glue is very, very runny, as we just saw. So I'm not even squeezing the bottle and it's coming out. I might have to transfer that over into a different bottle with an even smaller tip. See, that's way too much glue, even though it dries clear. All right, so we're gonna do a little change of plans. I'm going to put one of these big ones right in the corner. Oops, I dropped it. And get it picked up here. Yes, so I'm just gonna put a little dab of glue, and I'm not even squeezing it, I'm just letting it come out on its own. There. So I'm going to put that one right in the corner. Like that. All right, so I have a little scrap piece of paper. I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on here, just because this is coming out too fast out of that little bottle. And then I'm going to use my little picker tool to pick up these little gems and get a little dab of glue and then place it onto my card. See, and even that was too much. The nice thing is it does dry clear. So let's get another one and just tap it. See, and I might be too much again. Yeah, I think my solution will be to get a little bottle with an even finer tip, because I think this tip is just too big still. And our last one on this side. There we go. Come on, get off. Get off, get off. There we go. I think that looks good. And it just needed something over here in this corner, just to kind of jazz it up a little bit more. So I'll just continue on and get these on here. Just get these into place where we need them to be, and then we'll just let it dry. I think that's good. I'm missing one on this side. I'm just counting and I'm like, hold on, there's 4 here, there's only 3 here. So let's get another one and a little dab of glue here. We still have a little bit of glue here. And we'll stick that down. Like so. There we go. I think that's pretty. That's what it needed. It needed something in this corner just to bling it up a little bit. There we go. Our card is all done. And at this point, if you wanted, you could put a label on the back. Thank you again for joining me today on Krista So Crafty. If you enjoyed this content, please give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to my channel and click on the little bell so that you receive notification when I upload new videos. Thank you again and happy crafting.